One of the key important features of the whole rifle is that you can remove easily with unscrewing one single screw the complete breech block, or the receiver as it was called by that time. Well, if you look at that thing, it has a hammer, it has a pen, it has a frizzen, it has a trigger, it has a barrel, and it doesn't have any kind of grips. But still, can it be fired as a pistol? Well, I'm not the first one to think about this. Actually, there's a guy called Samuel Emery Chamberlain, a veteran of the Mexican War, who used this breech piece, or the percussion version, as a concealed carry gun, last line of defense. How about checking whether we can fire this thing, removed from the frame, and what performance it had? Let's check it.
Samuel Emery Chamberlain joined the 2nd Illinois Volunteer Regiment when he was only 17 years old to take part in the Mexican War. Later, in San Antonio, he joined the 1st Dragoons. He wrote a journal about the Mexican War that he also illustrated with his own watercolors. His diary, titled My Confessions, The Recollections of a Rogue, was written between 1856 and 1861. He was a young man searching for adventure, enjoying life, chasing women, and never avoiding conflicts. He was armed with a whole percussion carbine that could be 2 models by that time. First is the model 1833 whole carbine. This was the first percussion arm adopted by the US Army. They were manufactured in 58 and 52 calibers. They had a really unique feature, an underbarrel bayonet that slid into the ramrod channel. The 1st and 2nd US Dragons were equipped with this arm. The other possibility is the Norse whole carbine that was manufactured by Simon Norse in Middletown. Most of these percussion breech-loading carbines were 52 caliber smoothbore arms. Their cartridge contained 70 grains of rifle powder and a 0.525 round ball. As I don't have a percussion whole carbine yet, I'm going to use the breech of my flintlock whole rifle for this little experiment. It will be fun, don't worry. Chamberlain enjoyed his off-duty times well armed. He wrote the following in his journal. When not on duty, I went into town day and night, armed with my bowie knife and the chamber of my horse carbine, visited the fandangos and gambling rooms, danced, gambled, drank wine and mezcal, and made love to the senoritas. Enjoyable life, indeed. As the whole breech is easy to remove and has everything a flintlock pistol needs, except for a comfortable grip, this seemed like a good idea. 75 grains of powder and a 220 grain lead ball seemed like a good last line of defense. The receiver itself is small and light enough to be carried in a pocket, so we can call it an improvised concealed carry derringer as well. But let's check now if I can hit anything at 5 meters now. The charge is the full charge, and my target is a 50 centimeter metal popper. And the breech block found its time in 1847, when he was confronted by Mexican guerrillas in a cantina in Monterrey, in Mexico. Chamberlain wrote the following about the incident. With a bound, I sprang behind a large table used for a bar, drew the chamber of my horse carbine that I always carried in my pocket, said a short prayer and stood cool and collected at bay before those human tigers guerrillas. There was one grisly old fellow who seemed more ferocious than the others. He had but one eye that glared on me with the fierceness of a wild beast. He rushed for the table as he would spring over, when the sight of the little iron tube pointing straight for his solitary optic caused him to pause. So our hero was saved without firing the beast. Let's give that metal popper another chance to fall. The hold of the receiver is of course uncomfortable, but the recoil is absolutely manageable. I would say it is close to a 31 caliber percussion revolver with a full charge. The reason is that most of the powder burns outside the chamber. If you look close, you can actually see the round ball in the receiver. One thing for sure, it is a frightening look. Okay, I missed twice. But what happened if Chamberlain had to fire and actually hit the guerrilla? Let's measure the velocity and the energy of the projectile.
"92 meters per second. Not the fastest thing on earth."
This is the energy and velocity chart of the bullet in relation with the flight distance. Round balls have an inferior aerodynamic form, meaning they lose velocity fast. But this lead slug is so slow at the muzzle as well that it delivers only 60 joules of muzzle energy. This can surely cause a wound, but you need a lucky shot for a lethal injury. But even if the bullet itself is weak, let's not forget the effect of the large flames blasting out from the muzzle. These can be just as effective in stopping an enemy at point-blank range. I strongly believe that the best thing happened to Chamberlain. The look of the large muzzle on the receiver with the lead round ball in it was frightening enough to stop the attackers. I am sure if he had fired the gun, he might have stopped the nearest attacker, but the other guerrillas would have killed him for sure.
Can't hit anything with this. So ladies and gentlemen, this is a fun little experiment, but probably very close to the don't try this at home category. So don't try this at home. But anyway, it was fun to shoot it. It is not unsafe because if you point the barrel in a safe direction, this is a short barreled pistol, so we don't have any kind of problem with that. But don't do it. It's better to have it in the gun. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your support. Please don't forget that on Patreon and on the History of Weapons and War platform, you can receive more from capandball, exclusive content. If you like what I do, then please subscribe, comment, like, share. This will help the channel grow. So ladies and gentlemen, up until next time, stay cool and keep your powder dry.